Adding a new individual to Connect. To add a new individual to Connect, begin by clicking the plus sign and selecting Add Individual. Next, type in the first name and the last name of the individual you want to add to the database. You have the option of adding an email, which is very helpful in checking for possible duplicates. Next, if you have access to multiple locals, make sure that you are adding this individual to the local you want. Then click Search. When adding a new individual, Connect will do a quick search to see if that individual is already in the database. If the individual is not in the database, you can then click to add the new individual. You will be taken to a new page where you can add additional information about this individual. The first name and last name carry over from your initial form, but you must also indicate what the nature of the relationship is between this individual and the union. This is a critical step. Connect allows you to establish up to 4 types of relationships. A new individual added to the database can be a member, a potential member, an agency fee payer, or other. Locals without agency fee will not see this option. If you select the member option, you will then see the available dues categories for this member. Connect's default dues categories mirror the national union's per cap categories, such as full dues, half dues, quarter dues, and eighth dues. However, Connect allows local affiliates to establish their own local dues rates under the Affiliate tab, for example, Special Dues category. We'll make this individual a full dues member. By default, all members are considered to be in the bargaining unit or in the employee unit that we represent. This in-unit concept is very important. By default, all members of the union are considered to be in-unit. In-unit refers to either in the bargaining unit or in the employee unit that the union represents. There are some very rare occasions when a member might not be in the unit. As a Connect user, you have the ability to click on this option and turn it off. However, I will underscore it's very rare that a member is not in the unit. As mentioned, the other options under affiliate relationship include potential member, fee payer, and other. If you select potential member, the dues category option disappears, but they remain in unit. If you select agency fee payer, you will see the agency fee dues categories that are available, and the individual is considered to be in unit. Other is the option to be used if there are people who are important to your union but who are not part of your bargaining or employee unit. And you can define these under type, such as volunteers, parents, or friend of the union. Let's go back and make this individual a full dues member. If your local union has chapters, you can associate this individual with the appropriate chapter. You can also record COPE contributions, selecting the COPE type, the amount, the frequency, and the method of payment. You can also add the individual's address. Begin by selecting address type, address status, in this case it's a new address. You can add the source, for example if it came from the individual on a membership card, and you can add some detail about the source. You can indicate whether it's a preferred address, and you can also indicate whether the individual has asked you not to contact them at this address. To add the actual location, you can begin by typing in the street address. Connect will automatically look for the closest address matches to the one that you're typing in. If you click on the correct one, it will fill in the rest of the form. Scrolling down the page, you'll see options for adding email addresses, where you can also indicate the type of email address, the status, and the source. You can also add phone information, including the type of phone number, the status, and additional information. Scrolling down further, you will see the section that you can use to connect this individual to an employer and employment detail. Most AFT affiliates are associated with just one employer. However, it's not uncommon for a local to represent members who work at different employers. To associate an individual with an employer, begin by typing in the employer name. In this case, we're going to use a higher education employer as an example. I'm going to select South Columbia University. Assuming that your local affiliate has set up employment detail for this employer under the Employer tab, you can then associate this individual with the various employment detail affiliated with this employer. Employment detail is broken down into three buckets: physical locations, work structure, and job categories. Structure options will vary for every employer and employer type. For example, in a public employee environment, the structure is very different than it is for higher ed, and the same is true in healthcare. Connect is designed to accommodate the employment structures of all of the employers that we represent. Again, for this example, we're using a higher education institution. I'm going to go ahead and associate this individual with Hoover Hall. Hoover Hall has been set up to have a hierarchical relationship with the main campus. So when I select Hoover Hall, it also associates this individual with the main campus. We also know under work structure that this individual teaches creative writing in the English department. Creative writing is part of the English department, which is part of the College of Arts. Finally, we're going to select the job category. This individual is an adjunct faculty member who is part of the professional staff. There may also be an option for funding sources. Again, these are completely set up depending upon the needs of the local affiliate. As demonstrated, these relationships can be hierarchical, or they can also stand alone, as in funding source. Getting employment details correct is critical for generating useful reports. For example, I might want to generate a report that would show me membership density among professional staff in the English department, but only on the main campus. In addition to the employment detail, you can also capture the employee ID, specific job titles, hire dates, and start dates. Scrolling down the page further, you also have the option to add demographic information as well, such as birth dates, gender, marital status, and the number of dependents. Finally, you will want to click Save. Once you save the record, you will be taken to Connect's Basic Edit page, where you can add additional information or edit the information that you just entered, such as contact information, affiliations, political data, employment information, the relationships between this individual and external organizations, work schedules, their participation in events, quick comments and assessments. You can view historical assessments. You can enter data about surveys, look at Action Network data, add information related to custom fields that have been created by your local, or upload files to this record, such as scanned membership cards. All of these options are covered in more detail in the video entitled Editing an Individual's Record.